All right, guys. I'm wearing the titty shirt, so you know it's serious. Actually, hold on. Let's make it. There we go. Now it's serious. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, earlier this year, a couple weeks ago, last month, was it earlier in March? I don't know. Earlier, previously on Jeremy Stoneberger results, I discussed how I am not a fan of the Monster High dolls, but I wanted to be a fan. So I made the super clickbaity clownish video and put it out on the internet. There is no question that lately Mattel has just been getting their ass kicked by MGA in quality, price point, everything like that. Like Barbie's really let herself go downhill. We're starting to see Barbie pick up again because there is competition on the shelves again. But Mattel, I don't know if they can keep up with MGA. And MGA is announcing that Bratz are coming back, and not too long after Bratz were coming back, Mattel resurrected the monsters, and we're getting Monster High remakes in 2022 in conjunction with Nickelodeon. And if it's anything like the last reboot, like, why even f***ing try? Like, what's the point? Like, if you're just gonna listen to a bunch of Karens again and ruin your whole brand, like,
what's the point?
I discussed these things in that video, which I will link down below. And in it, I said I was probably gonna start watching the Monster High movies so that I could start becoming a fan of the Monster High franchise. And I have successfully done that. Twice. The first time was just to get like an initial feel of everything. And then the second time was just to like kind of get everything into my head so I could tell them all apart so I could discuss them. Out of the 15 Monster High movies, I have figured out which one is my least favorite, which one is my favorite, and I think we should just get into the ranking. So I will be ranking these as a brand new fan of Monster High, not an old fan who has the nostalgia boner for them. I think we should just start with number 15 and 14, which are total garbage tier, and that is Monster High Electrified and Monster High Welcome to Monster High. These are the two movies that came out of the reboot, and the only thing I will give them is the CGI animation is about 100 times more polished. That's the only thing they have going for them. They redid the origin story. They have some weird villain who loses her Spanish accent. She like jumps in and out of it too much, so I don't know what's going on there. And they just have some really weird characters. They're too softened up. I don't really like it. The animation is the only thing that's pretty. I want to preface that the next 13, I like all of them. So just because this one's 13 doesn't mean it's bad. I just don't think, you know, if I had to pick, it's just not the best, you know? Number 13 is Escape from Skull Shores. The only thing I liked about that really was that sexy furry dude that was living in the forest. Didn't care for the villain. I didn't care about like the Laguna Gill drama. And I don't know why, but I thought the little tiki dudes were just like weird representation. I don't know, they were just weird. So I didn't care for that. Okay, so this one surprised me because it was the one I told you guys I was gonna start with, and then everybody's like, no, don't do it. And I didn't listen. And that is Great Scarier Reef. I thought I was really gonna like it because it's a lot of mermaids and stuff, but the story's weird, the setup's weird, and everything. Like, it's not the best story that they've made. The only thing I really cared for were all the mermaid dolls and everything, and I love mermaids, always have, not a surprise on this channel. And it was just really weird. I don't know how to explain it. It just didn't quite fit in with like the other movies, if that makes sense. But it gets points for mermaids. Number 11 is Scarus City of Frights. The positives about it were we got the new characters, we got Jennifer, and we got Skelita. And those two are beautiful characters, especially Skelita. I just think she is like a super fabulous girl, and I definitely want her as a doll. And that cute little bonus episode at the end when the weird book comes to life and they go running around the world, I think that's really cute. But it was a very familiar plot line that I've seen like 1,000 times, where it's like, oh no, some older person is not as relevant anymore, so they start stealing the ideas or the talent or the youth or whatever from another character. And it's a pretty predictable story at this point. As far as number 10 goes, I think that's going to go to the first one where they switched over to CGI animation, and it is Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love? I really don't care for CGI animation, but if it looks awful, it's like, what are you even doing with it? And I didn't grow up with the movies, and I don't want to offend the people that did, but honestly, they look like a PlayStation 2 graphic. Not that that's a bad look, you know, in a video game in like 2004, but for a full-fledged animation style, it's a lot. It hurts. The way they render the characters just doesn't look good. They don't put a lot of detail. Well, they don't put a lot of detail in the clothing to make it more three-dimensional. It's just like an overlay almost. So there's like, they don't quite pop. They spent so much time animating the faces that the clothes just look painted on. And I just don't care for that animation style, but you can make up for like a good storyline. I don't really care for the storyline either. It is what it is, and it was their first movie switching over to that style, so that's why it's not like bottom tier of the list, but it's rough to look at. I'm sure today, if you went back and watched Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this kind of hurts. As far as number 9 goes, it is Haunted. It was like an okay story and everything. I liked Portergeist. I thought he was a really fun character. The girl that he's a love interest with, I don't know. What's her name? Is it Spectra? No, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the girl, she's just kind of whiny and like not like a fun character to really give like a whole movie focus for. And the weird like throwing kids into slavery to turn them into ghosts to steal children from Monster High gimmick is weird, and I don't know. It's not a bad movie. It's just the plot. The whole time the plot was going on, I was like, what's going on? So, not my favorite. Number 8 is Friday Night Frights. It is... I don't really care about like sports themed movies and stuff like that. Like, I'll never watch stuff like that anyway. And I was watching this because I was like, oh, it's the girls in Monster High, but it was really sports focused. It did touch on like sexist behavior, stuff like that, like the boys talking down to the girls because they were girls, and it's all about girl power and teamwork and stuff like that. And I loved that. Like, that was the only thing I liked about that whole movie. And Operetta was kind of getting on my nerves because I have a problem with people that are like highly competitive. And it kind of turned me off of her character for like a little bit. Operetta is really cool in like a lot of the other movies, but for like a moment there, I was just like, oh, maybe she's not that cool. But I ended up really liking Operetta anyway. So the next movie, number 7, is Ghouls Rule. And this is where we're starting to get into the ones that I actually really liked, and it was hard for me to figure out who I liked. So Ghouls Rule, it has this whole, like, the history of Halloween lore that they created for Monster High and stuff like that. It was an overall cute movie where, like, the normies and the Monster High people get together and have a party and everything. But my most favorite part of that movie was the kind of, like, fuck the police, like, down with the establishment kind of message, which I'm like, yeah, that usually grabs my attention. So I really liked it. Number 6 is Freaky Fusion. I like a good time travel story. I think they're super fun. I love Nathan Rott. I want a doll of him really bad. I even said that in my last video when I found out who he was. He's like a gay looking zombie unicorn thing. Like, that's so adorable. And he's in the Zombie Gaga music video. So I definitely want him. It was cute to see like a Frankie origin story because they kind of frame her to be like the main character at the beginning of the franchise, and then they kind of just spread out. So it was cool to get like a background for Frankie. Number 5 is Fright's Camera Action. It is a really cute movie idea. I like the whole going to Hollywood thing, the vampire history, everything. Draculaura was so fucking annoying at the beginning of the movie scene. Like, it was so bad I almost turned off the movie. And then I realized I had to watch it a second time, which, whew, I didn't care for that. Draculaura is not my favorite character out of the girls. She's whiny and annoying, and I know she's supposed to be the baby of the group, but sometimes it's just a lot to deal with. But ultimately, I ended up really liking the whole overall movie, and we got this really cute, like, Bayou girl in there, and I just thought she was adorable. So yeah, that would be number 5. Number 4 was the first 2D animation movie, and it is New Ghoul at School. It's got this cute premise of like Frankie coming to school, fitting in, meeting everybody. We get this nice intro to all the characters, and Cleo Denial is just so funny in it. She's one of my favorite characters out of the whole franchise. She has the best one-liners. She is hilarious. Her and Abby, they're just the two funniest characters. And like, the animation style was prettier, the 2D and everything. Like, I loved it. It was cleaner. They could do better faces with it. Like, Ghoulia made some funny faces. Like, they could just animate better with that style. So I don't know why they jumped over to the 3D ship, except it might be like easier or more cost effective. And it might have been because they made it look like a fucking video game. Frankie's whole, it's my sweet 16 days of being alive. Like, I just thought that was cute. Okay, guys, and we're getting into the top 3 of my favorite Monster High videos as a new fan, just based off what I've seen. And number 3 is 13 Wishes. I really liked the overall story, the message, the genie and her shadow being friends again at the end and everything. Howleen was like such a huge turd during that whole thing. It just bothered the crap out of me, which I know like why she was supposed to be and everything, but it just got like really annoying because she was being a turd before she even got possessed. And then once she got possessed, it just got even worse and worse and worse. I liked the overall story, the outfits, the whole going into the genie's bottle, the mirror, everything. Like, it was just altogether a really good movie, and I really appreciated it. Number 2 is the movie Fright On. It had this great message of diversity and everything. Like, the vampires and the werewolves had like this kind of weird turf war where they were always fighting with each other and everything based off like rumors they heard about from the past. And then people externally were like, well, that's ridiculous. You guys shouldn't be focusing on your differences. You should be focusing on what like you have in common and stuff like that. And it was just a really cute thing. Really good bad guys. It was written really well. I like that the bad guy is like a white man who is a human. Like, I just think that's funny because I'm like, of course he'd be the bad guy, right? In this universe. I love that. So I just thought overall, like, the plot was really good. I like the background story. The animation gets points for being 2D. Like, everything about it, so good. I just liked everything about Fright On. Like, and it ended well, and Monster High, that's the whole point. That's where people go, where everybody can go when they have their freaky flaws. And number 1, if you haven't figured it out yet, because it's the only one left, is Boo York, Boo York. That was by far my favorite movie in the whole entire franchise because it was really ambitious, like being a full-fledged musical. But not only that, every single song is a bop. There's not a single song in the entire soundtrack that is bad. All of them are great. I love Nephira's, and it had a huge Cleo Denial and Deuce focus, which those two are my favorites. Lots of fun characters. Caddy Noir is in it, and I love Caddy Noir. Like, she is so beautiful. Like, that collector doll of her, I want that so bad. And just all together, the story, the characters brought in, Seth. I really wish we would have got a Seth doll, and everything about it is really good. Like, I've been listening to the music almost daily since I watched it the first time. That's how I would rank the 15 movies, just based off what I've seen as a new fan coming in and everything. And let me know down below what's your least favorite, how you would have ranked these videos, who's your most favorite, whatever you want to comment. just let me know down below, because I like getting a more well-rounded perspective, especially from people who grew up with it and kind of have that nostalgia filter over the top of it. If you guys want me to go into more detail about which movies, I can do like a review on every single video, like I do those Rainbow High videos if you want, but I'm only going to do them if you guys want to, because that's like 15 movies and I'm going to have to watch them again, which I don't have a problem with, like 13 of them. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video. My goddess, don't be modest. When we rule this kingdom, it's gonna be monstrous. What?